define roles would be a good thing.
Okay, step back. So I remember I attended that meeting in the beginning of the year,
Yes, sir.
and you talked about goals and that type of thing. Has there been any buy-in in terms of what's happening this year? How do you sort of communicate and bring the group together when you're talking about goals and that type of thing?
Yes, sir. Right. Okay. So maybe we should
First of all, what are the goals, and then?
Yeah. So what are y'all's goals for Bolson? Let me just ask y'all before I.
So me personally, I really want to kind of promote so I'm spiritual chair, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wanting to take a broad definition to that and say, how can we kind of, in a way, also uplift the spirits of, of course I want the whole school, but, we're Balsa.
Sure.
So, I want us to feel connected to each other and to the school. The ways I wanted to do that was like through promoting our health and well-being, especially mentally. I would do that by using my connections, through the community that I have, because I live here. Some people aren't from here, so maybe they don't know about the different resources that are available within the university and in the larger community. So health and well-being, connectedness to the school and to law. So one thing I really wanted to do last year but couldn't was during Black History Month, really talk about the contributions that Black lawyers have made, judges, policymakers, laws that have affected the Black community particularly, different things like that. So that helps with connectedness. And then, just general advocacy where I can.
Okay.
I think, that's,
So,
and especially birthdays, because that's my main role,
Mhm.
was the birthday. So I wanted to help people's birthday feel special. So not many people signed up, though, so.
I know.
okay,
Yeah.
so what are you doing to advance these goals thus far? Because
It's
the
a lot.
semester's almost over and it's a lot. So
Yeah.
have any progress been made on those things?
Well, I mean, the main thing was the birthdays, getting those in order, because I didn't have a list or anything. So I sent out that group email, and whoever did want to be recognized, they were supposed to reply to that. I only got like 3 or 4, but that's okay. I'll do those 3 or 4. And then I do have to prepare for Black History Month. I plan to do that over winter break. But then that's going to be a big one, as far as for those connectedness goals and camaraderie. And then the health and well-being stuff, it's a lot harder. That's a bigger project, and I would like that to be sustainable so that when I leave, there's a process there. So I think that one's going to take more time, and I may not get to it this year.
So,
But, yeah.
so how are y'all meeting and like communicating? Like you said, connectedness and stuff, health and well-being. Has there been any type of interaction to do that?
So
With who?
With the Boston membership?
so with the membership, no, but
I kind of just came into this position
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
So I've only been here like, a month?
Okay.
yeah.
I'm the same way.
So
Yeah.
there was, you sort of a transition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is all pretty much brand new, and
So, yeah, go ahead.
so she came to me with the idea. I need to speak with Emily Clark because she's over wellness. We did talk to Anita, who's a classmate of McKellen and I's, but it was on a more initial
It was like in
parts of
passing.
this. Yeah, so we're just thinking up how to do this, and for next semester, because this semester right now we do have an event on Thursday, but it's coming quick. It's crunch time. We got 40 days till finals for 1Ls, and 2 weeks for our final and PR, and then 40 days for our other finals. So right now, November, I was kind of just trying to keep that for everyone to focus on school, and then, but right now get the direction for next semester so we can jump right in. And like you said, so one big thing I want to do and talk to the diversity committee about is having a February Black History Month event. That's for sure. potentially there's other ideas, but and so I have a lot of things that steps that I can try and go and do.
So is there
This
a
takes time.
possibility of another meeting before
For the e-board
before
or
the semester ends?
for the
For the
whole
full
bowl?
membership.
So potentially we were thinking Thursday, but I mean maybe I could push it till next Thursday, because this Thursday we do have the uncuffed event that we did, and I met with Alexis and Armand earlier this morning. We brought it together pretty much, so it looks really good. So there's going to be an October meeting. There's supposed to be. It's just I want to have a good direction and kind of things. Main things for me right now, and we're doing the end of the year event where we'd send the 3Ls off, doing the Black History Month event, and then getting the event for the 1Ls with the teachers. But that one I kind of stalled, and I thought maybe I'd just put it towards next semester. And then a wellness event as well, and how we can do that.
So I think our biggest problem, though, is our transition wasn't smooth. So, like, we started out with one board in April or May, and then by the time, just even to now, I think
April or May, like a last.
the elections,
Yeah.
but all the way to now, I think the only two solid pieces were president and vice president.
You've only had like 2 meetings this year, right, for membership or not?
2 meetings for August, September, yes sir. So 2 meetings for membership. Yeah.
So we have to find out a way. I know it's late in semester, but you probably have to reset, and I think it's important. I know it's late and stuff, but I think one meeting would be good where you sort of express the direction so people know, because it's drift now.
Mm-hmm.
I can see. And so, and people may be uncomfortable because they don't know what to say or who to say it to. They don't want to ruffle anything, feathers. Exams are coming up. Everybody's busy. But I think if we don't sort of come together and sort of have some type of consensus, or even just to talk like this instead of, just these are the things that are remaining, like in the email, upcoming events, we probably need to talk so that we can form at least a preliminary consensus, and then moving into the spring semester, we'll have some direction. Because the convocation is coming up. That's something
Yes, sir.
you're going to have to deal with. And I think if there's drift there, that could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then any other activities, 1 or 2 activities would be good. I mean, you can't do 4 or 5, it's too much, but 1 or 2 really well done and planned activities will help get the first years involved. We'll have some continuity in leadership, and you guys will be sort of solid in leadership if you show that you can do something, pull it off, and the membership benefits from it.
Yes, sir.
So it's important to get on that. I'm certainly willing to come to the next meeting and not really say that directly, because y'all be driving the meeting. I'm not, telling y'all what to do. But in terms of the organization's own self-determination, I think it's important that you guys have to set the tone. And I know you're in transition and everything, but part of transition is pushing the organization while you're in transition. So we're looking to you for leadership. So that's what we're doing. So tell me your position. I'm sorry. You're spiritual chair.
I'm the treasurer.
Give me the correct spellings of your names, so I'm out here.
Elizabeth.
I saw you call you Elizabeth, and then go ahead.
I'm Mikella. So
Yeah.
it's Mikella.
I
Kella.
K-E-L.
That's
Michaela.
Michaela Fields
Yeah.
and Elizabeth Mwanga.
See, that's what I was.
M-U-W.
Wang.
Yeah, you got it. A-N-G-A.
Okay,
Say
go ahead.
what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And spell it how you say
Okay.
it. Man, this dude didn't even try this morning. He's like, moo.
See, I tried. That's bad on student evaluations. He didn't even know my name. So Ms. Fields, tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're thinking about and stuff. Yeah, all of you. So we're going to go back around, and then I want to know.
I don't want to be the negative person.
No, well, you get this is
Be honest,
that's
yeah.
why we're meeting in my office with the door closed. and it's an awkward conversation, but these are things that this happens in
Even
real
if
life
it's
too.
on
When
me.
you're,
It's not
I
personal.
just
When you're-
no,
Throw
it's
it
not
on
even
me.
about him.
when
It's
you're in a
not
law
him.
firm, yeah, okay. Go
If
ahead.
it is on me, you can throw it out there.
It's not him. So just being on the e-board for
Yes.
the little bit of time that I've been on the e-board, I'm like,
Right.
oh hell no. Like it's too much going on.
Yeah.
It's not any unity.
Yes.
Everybody is upset
Yes.
about something.
Yes.
Nobody wants to support each other.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to participate.
Yes.
But everybody has something to say.
Okay.
And
That sounds like
I
a
feel
family
like,
meeting.
yeah, I
See, you
feel
went-
like
you
that's
saw-
the
so-
issue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
that e-board?
tell
So
me.
no,
Now
it's
tell-
everyone,
Okay, good. So
including the e-board that left.
okay, well.
So
Tell me this then: if you had to identify those problems that everyone is talking about and not doing anything about, what are you hearing that are the major problems?
I think
Like
it's
the-
communication.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think that nobody's giving Dimitri a fair chance,
Okay. So
and
how do they want to be communicated to?
we don't know. Like it's like
Okay. So yeah, that's point. That's why we meet. And so you say this. This is how we're going to address it, and we're all a group, and you may not. We're all a group, and so we all have to pitch in. It's not going to be a perfect situation, but you just can't sit back and criticize without
I think
giving
that-
us some suggestions. So okay.
I think the communication issues was one. Communication was disorganized at first, and so
Okay.
there were like a lot of errors, and
Okay.
then that made us have to increase communication. So people
Okay.
were getting too many emails,
Okay.
Yeah.
and etc.
Okay.
So that was just part of transition
Okay.
and a fair chance.
So
and
we
all of
explain that.
Yeah.
We're going to explain that. And so I bet you that hasn't really been explained. It's sort of been, you'll probably had in hallways, well, this is what's happening like that, but not,
yeah.
okay.
So that's why I said communication, because
Alright.
it's chatter amongst other people, but
Okay.
nobody's bringing it to the
That's
e-board.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And
okay.
then it's like when we make a move, it's
Right.
like, well, you didn't do this, but you didn't say anything.
Okay.
So how do I
Okay.
fix that if I
Okay.
don't know what's the problem?
Okay,
And I feel like Dimitri has tried.
okay,
He said, like, if there's an issue, can we talk about it? They don't want to talk,
okay,
or they don't like the way they were approached, and it's like, well,
Okay.
how do I approach you if no matter what I
Right.
say,
right,
it's obviously going to be an issue.
right. Okay.
So, and then that in turn correlates to the participation because they're mad about something, so now they don't want to participate.
Do you think we can have a conversation like this, like all of us together? I mean, I don't
Bolson?
I don't know.
I don't want to be like, I'm not, y'all are grown people. Yeah?
That's
Yeah.
my thing.
So I can't, like, but I want sort of the whole membership to do what we're doing now.
I think the
Okay.
hard part is, and Elizabeth alluded to it with the birthdays, and I'm going to do better with getting those for you, but it's just participation, getting people to respond, and then trying to get somebody to show up,
Mhm.
right? I mean, it's
'Cause we're busy.
difficult. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's also buy-in.
And yes,
they didn't buy into this administration,
Yep.
and then so it all falls apart from there.
Especially if we're trying to change it from what it has been previously, just
Which
the
was
e-board
great,
doing
yeah.
everything. And that's still what we're doing. So we're not failing in that sense, but what we wanted to do was greater, and we didn't want there to be much division. So I felt like I'm failing in that sense to where I wanted to take it, to where I could have taken it. Because I would love everyone to, be at everything, not realistic or to supporting everything, but it can't happen. And so with me, what happened with me is, okay, I felt like I wasn't getting the buy-in, so then I just went and did it all on my own.
Mhm.
Because if I was going to wait on somebody else to do it,
It wouldn't have
how
gotten
it
done.
wouldn't have gotten done, or it would have taken in the time that I could ask them, I could just go do it.
And so that's a dangerous thing for a leader.
Yeah,
So I'll just use an analogy. The dean here is the first among equals. That's what we always say. I mean, you need somebody to run things because just sort of for coordination. But an important part of that coordination is collaboration. So beyond the e-board, we have to talk about getting members engaged. And
Yes,
I know
sir.
that's been difficult. So we have to break down these perceptions about, too much communication, I'm not participating, because this is the administration. We need your support for this to work, and we have to collaborate. So there comes a point where you have to care more about BALSA than, your criticism of it or your anger at it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I care more about this law school than some of my colleagues. I don't get along with everybody. We don't have to go to lunch, but this place has to work because that's where we make our livelihood and educate students and all of that. So same thing with BALSA. It's supposed to be for the survival of African American students and anyone who supports our objectives. So we have to make sure that, and it's institutional survival too. We don't want all of these other organizations to be fully thriving and then we're sort of adrift. And that helps us not only have BALSA, but we need a strong BALSA so that we have a strong organization, but also membership in other organizations. It was not uncommon. I went to NYU, so I feel close to BALSA because that's where BALSA was founded. 1969, but I wasn't there in 1969. But BALSA is important because it is one of the most important organizations at this law school in the spotlight, and so we have to drive that. A lot of people around aren't conscious, and that's of all colors. And so BALSA has always been the organization that did that. So that's important. And if we're not doing that, then there's a void in this law school, and it's only harmful. Whenever there's a void, other things come in to take its place, and that's not good. And particularly in these times, how conservative it is and how crazy it is.
Yeah.
We have no choices for survival. And so the membership shouldn't always, be running to BALSA when something's wrong or I need your help. BALSA should be fully functioning at all times, So don't just come to the study session that we're going to do. You're participating throughout the year, and that's what makes BALSA stronger. So, if people come in and out just to get benefits of the organization, it's not really an organization. It's just a service entity, and we want BALSA to be fully involved in everything in the law school. So you see how much influence BALSA can have. You see the dean, coming in and how things go. And so we need that, and we need to be involved in all levels to push our leverage. That's important. Yeah. So the BALSA needs to have a agenda, whatever y'all think that is, inside this law school, and also outside of this law school, to be involved in the community. That helps you with jobs, helps you to get, acclimated with African American community, all of that stuff. So
how do we?
It's all important.
Can we just kind of go back to the basics? Like I think Kalicia probably left the blueprint. I think we came in, and I know I did, passionate and with an agenda to, be even better, make it even greater.
Exactly.
And then found out, whoa, we don't know what we're doing. Like, this is a lot harder than it looked.
Yeah.
And then so we kind of just was disheartened, So, if we can kind of step back and start off where, Kalicia left off.
So one thing that
I think that's
one thing
good.
I'm understanding that she had was upperclassmen who were involved, right? And so I think that starts with, because right now our most involved class is the 1L. And so we got the group chat, we're trying to communicate. There's one 3L person in it. And not everybody has a group chat, right? But you're fully involved. You're fully committed, I can tell by everything you say. Michaela, same thing. Amani she's pretty busy though.
So
you heard that?
I'm gonna sound like an old man now. You'll see what I mean. Time goes swiftly. You'll be this age. So I think on the Twitter and all of that, I think all of that's cool. But you see how much better this is?
Yes, sir.
You can't communicate through text message and email.
Yeah,
right.
Because
I've
noticed something about text messages. They're flat. So like for example, if someone sends me a text and it's long and involved, and I just say that might seem like I'm mad, but I'm rushing to my next class, and so you don't get nuance and context, and you don't get this. There's no substitute for that. I don't think you can do that electronically. I mean, I think emails is great for we have these 3 things on the agenda. Here's the agenda. This is what we're going to talk about. So,
Yeah.
so that's great. But as far as bringing people together, it's a little bit limited. Unless we're like planning a mass rally, let's meet downtown in front of the courthouse at 3:00. That's a great way to get everyone knows that. But like the specifics of the message and what we want to say, that is probably going to have to be worked out in person.
Okay.
You know, you could tell somebody, bring all of these billboards that say fight the power, but are we united behind that billboard? And there's no way to really do that except like this, I think.
Yes, sir.
I just,
Does an official Boston meeting have to happen here?
but in the law school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
No.
think so. I don't think there's
No,
anything.
so, yeah.
You know, that's another thing. Is everyone familiar with the bylaws and everything of the BOSA? Has a copy been circulated?
So
Has
it's
it
been
been
emailed multiple times, but probably
Okay.
not reviewed. No.
Okay.
So should we just go over it in the meeting?
I think so.
Okay.
I think the executive committee needs to look at the Constitution and everything, see if anything needs to be revised.
In the Constitution?
In the Constitution, I don't think, probably not.
I think it. I mean, I've read it
But-
about 3 times.
Right, and
I think
it's good?
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so, but whatever, I think it needs to be common buy-in. So, that's something like in the beginning of the year, you make sure that the membership understands what the duties and how governance works.
Bless you.
So that's important.
Have we even collected dues?
No, we haven't. So I was gonna
So-
send out an
So
email.
we just need to start
but-
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
From
I
the
think
beginning.
that's what y'all.
Straight up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Constitution
wanted
bylaw.
to have like a kickback at my house. Like
We can do that. Let's do it.
everybody, just we eat, we talk,
So Saturday.
we reset.
So on a weekend.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, Sunday,
Well, yes,
Saturday.
It has to be weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah.
See, and so
Sunday
now
might
this is
be a
going to
good
have to
day.
be done delicately because it deals with money, and so
Yeah.
we have to sort of have this
Well, if we
conversation.
potluck it though, everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
brings-
But I'm
I mean, I
saying
could
if you're
still-
collecting dues,
Yes. Okay.
want them to be members first. We'll sort of you'll talk about how you're resetting and then moving forward. But we need the message is we need everyone to participate so that the organization can thrive.
Yes.
That means, you know, everything is not going to be perfect, but one thing that will be perfect is our collaboration with one another. And so you have a leadership, the leadership listens to the membership, and we push the goals of BOSS.
So.
I think we did start out talking at them,
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah.
membership,
Exactly.
instead of collaborating and say, what do y'all want out of Boss?
You're right. You're right.
Right. And so whenever you do that,
But where that had come from, where my goals had come from, was talking to each person individually throughout from the time of April to now. So I said, okay, this is what these people wanted. I turned those into goals. So I didn't research.
That's cool, but then see the next step that was missing after you talk to all of those individual people, you integrate that message, have an open discussion about this,
Okay.
have them buy in, and then you move forward.
Okay.
So you
Skip that
were
step.
absolutely correct talking to the individual people, and those were your impressions. But how do you bring those things together? So person A may like this, and person B may like something a little bit different. The way you get cohesion and sort of harmonize those things is if they both know what you've talked about with them, and then you bring them together. So those positions might be different, but there has to be some common ground. We find that common ground, and we move forward.
So how do you suggest we get a common ground? Because I think that's the issue too. Is like
Have it-
there's very strong, opinionated people,
Right.
Yes.
and they feel strongly about whatever their personal views are. And
Right.
if you don't
Right.
do what they say
Right.
or do what they want, it's kind of like, well,
I'm
I
out.
don't want to do this,
Well,
and I'm not going to do that.
So
So how do you kind of get people to come together and kind of like accept other
Right.
people's
right,
personalities and views and
That's
everything else
that's right.
Yeah.
without it being so personal
You're
all
right.
the time?
Yeah.
So, and that's difficult to do on any level, even, you know, however old you are, because you feel strongly about your viewpoints. But you have to realize in this law school and in life that collaboration means you have to accept the different viewpoints. No one's always right all the time, but one thing we can unite around is the organization itself. So there has to be some humility in this as well. I mean, no one is right all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and so it takes some self-reflection. It takes some perspective. It takes asking difficult and candid questions, and it takes recognizing. I mean, you don't have to just say to the whole membership, "Oh, I've sinned. I made this horrible mistake," but you cannot be right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you have strong and forceful opinions, that's fine. But everyone has to be able to share their viewpoint. You can't monopolize the conversation. So you try and have an open dialogue. And sometimes you have to protect, might be too strong a role, but make sure that the conversation is open enough so people who feel a little bit tentative or afraid because you have forceful people in the room, so they get heard too. I think that may be happening too, that, you have these forceful people, and then other people are like, hey, wait a minute. And so, that's only human nature. But you have to make sure that the people who don't normally express themselves forcefully have space to do so. And so that's what this reset is doing, making sure that in this meeting, sort of set out the guidelines for the discussion. If you don't like the idea, challenge the idea, not the person. No one's always right. Give and take means give and take. There has to be some self-reflection, and we move together as a group, not in disarray or anything, but united around common goals that we agree upon.
Mm-hmm.
And we may not agree upon everything, but there has to be something common. We're all in BALSA, so that's step one. What do we need to do to make BALSA function?
Yeah.
I think a meeting to just communicate all of those
Yeah,
things
So-
is going to
so.
build the cohesion.
And so
I agree.
I think you can talk about that some more, and then we can meet again before the meeting.
Okay.
And then I'll be in the room, but I'll let y'all do that. And if anything gets heated, I'll make the point that I made before, that nobody's always right.
And
Okay.
we're all in.
And we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Because there's gonna be a couple challenges trying to get people, just time date by the end of the month. Y'all thinking?
So
think we
can I just say, it drives me crazy when people say that they're busy. I mean,
We're all busy.
all busy.
Yes. Yeah.
So for years I was chair of TARC. I'm teaching classes. I'm advising students. I'm working on 2 books.
We need your
Parents.
chapter, by the way.
Huh?
We need your chapter for
Oh, you look at Tony.
land use and justice. Yeah.
Well, see, that's good. That's funny. See, I was joking. I'm gonna show you. I said I'll show you what I'm working on. I was gonna show Professor Arnold, but he said, "No, I trust you, man." But I'll show you. I'm almost finished.
I trust you too. It's
No, I want you to see.
You brought it up.
Because I would this whole semester, like when I see Professor Arnold, like open my door and then I close my door. Like I got a paper deal. But
No, really.
it's supposed to be 8,000 words. I'm up to 5,000. I want you to see. This is
No, because I got to site check and book check it. So.
Well, but see, I'm gonna show you. You're not gonna have that much work.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's
See,
what's up.
When I give you something, it's almost
All right.
done, and all you have to do is
Yes.
tell me that I'm right or wrong.
So you're saying meeting her house or meeting here?
No, the
See,
meeting that
Professor,
you
he's a
already
maniac.
So Thursday? Okay. Okay.
See,
And
so I
then-
got.
And then if we can have just another quick way to go over what you already have.
My site's
Okay.
pretty
You know,
good.
so you're not wasting
See, I'll give you that shit.
your hard work.
You're not gonna have that much
Yeah.
work with me.
I mean,
I do think we just need to like
So.
I'm willing to go whichever
snatch
way.
it, snatch
So
it back.
I'm almost
Oh,
there.
100%.
I'm sort of
You guys
part
are
of
right.
these 4
You guys
parts,
are right.
and I'm
Y'all
sort of
spoke
like in
some
the middle of
truth,
the
so
second part.
I agree. Let's just
But
get it.
I think
You
it's
got it.
gonna be.
We'll make it happen. I'm glad I got y'all on though,
Okay,
because you guys are really about doing stuff.
So that's how, and it has to be
You got
8,000.
it.
So a little
You
bit
did
more
We
than
got
that,
it.
but-
I'm great.
But it may
I'm
even
great.
be a little bit more than that. But I'll be good. So.
My man.
I didn't mean to play on your
Oh
last
no!
name.
I like people to know. So.
Because I lost my
So-
ID and I know you're going to lose yours.
No,
So-
you're gonna lose.
So is that a good plan?
I think it's
Yeah.
excellent. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so I'll leave you alone, but sort of this is your assignment. I want you to sort of memorialize this meeting, what we talked about, and how we're going to do our approach.
Yeah.
Then we're going to use that memo in our next meeting to discuss how we're going to approach them in the board in the general meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll have the general meeting. And I'll just sort of be in the room, and we'll talk about the reset.
All right.
So I
So
want you to sort of go through and talk about what the components of the reset are and what we're going to do moving forward.
yes, sir. And then
And then you two sort of look at it to see if you left anything out, and
Yeah.
and I will too. Yeah.
would y'all like to meet? So we'll do. Okay. So what we're gonna do? Hopefully, plan to shoot regular meeting, BOLSA meeting next Thursday. We'll just do it next Thursday, and then meet in here again on Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
I could do that.
And then okay.
Okay, so put that in the memo too. Time, date, the next meeting, format going
Yes,
forward.
sir.
How we're gonna address this issue.
All right. I got you.
Yeah.
I have that
I have class at 1 on Thursday, so.
on Thursday.
I thought the
Oh, yeah.
meeting was like right.
Usually we
Wasn't
do
it
it
in lunch
It's
hour?
like 12:30.
Usually we do it 12:15 to try and get done by 1, but we'll see.
Well, it's in another building, so I gotta.
Oh, so be out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll figure it out then.
But I could stay.
But was Thursday the day that was on the surveys that people chose?
It was the best day for the
Okay.
surveys that most people come to. But all right.